live cameras, and we'll be all good to go. I'm having a good time out here this weekend. Go over to YouTube on this computer. All right. Hopefully the sound hangs in there, and let me turn on my controller. Hopefully the sound hangs in for me this afternoon. Not what I wanted on this thing. Somebody help me. I don't know how to run an iPad. But at least I admit it. Give me my remote control, please. There we go. And I do believe we are connected. Yep, we're all good there. So we have our remote control up and running now. Push this box. I decided not to bring the table over just because it's kind of crazy in here, and I decided to go ahead and put my lathe protector back on and work with the colors here. What I want to do is work with the airbrushes. Now I have a confession to make in that the airbrushes were roughly cleaned after Secaucus, New Jersey, before we went to Columbus, and they were put in the box, and that's the last I've seen them, and I just pulled them out a few minutes ago. So I'm going to run a little alcohol through them and make sure that they will spray. I hope they do. I have 4 Grex airbrushes that Spirocraft carries here. And I'm going to work on coloring the piece that we just turned. I put a little bit of sealer on it while we were away. And I want to work with the Chromacraft peel and stick stencils and the new infill stencils. And we're going to do a little bit of artwork on here. Now it's a small piece, so we can't get carried away. And I am not the greatest airbrush artist in the world. Matter of fact, I am not an airbrush artist. I am learning to use an airbrush, and I'm getting better over time. So hopefully it's going to be a lot of fun. I know it's going to be a lot of fun. I hope that you enjoy it. And I'm just kind of checking around here to make sure things are running. And they are, so that's all good. Now, let me know if my batteries go dead on me again. Cheap batteries just didn't last. I have the rechargeables in the charger, and now I need to learn. I was just telling Bridget there's a little, I can see my audio bars over on the monitor that I watch out front of me here. And when I see that, when I see those audio bars disappear, then I'll know that I have lost sound. I guess I lost sound for about 10 minutes earlier today. Something like that. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to run a little bit of denatured alcohol through these brushes just to make sure they'll spray. And then I'll load up the colors, and I need one more. Oh, my blue's over there. We'll use 4 colors today, red, blue, yellow, and black, for all the work that we do. And I had, like I say, I have the Grex brush, and I have 4 different styles of brushes all set up here. Yay! It's coming out, so that's all good. These are all dual stage brushes or 2-stage brushes. First stage is just your air. The second stage is, stick this down here where you can see these guys. Second stage is the fluid. So they work really well, and I've been really impressed with the way these things can do. I had a lot of fun. I would always have a board up out at the shows, and I would be doing different stencil patterns, and attendees at the shows could give them a try on their own, use them. Sometimes I'd be off doing a seminar, and I'd come back, and some wonderful children would have found them, and there would be all kinds of interesting things on the demonstration board, but that's okay. It's all in fun. Go back over here. I have top feeds, I have side feeds. Caps are kind of glued on from not being cleaned as they were supposed to be, which is always my bad. But I did run solvent through them before I put them away. So hopefully they'll all spray, and we'll have a lot of fun. So this piece of sycamore, what'll be fun is with the dies, we'll be able to put some patterns on. We'll use the stencils to put patterns on, and we'll be able to color the piece, and we'll still see all the grain in the wood. And that's the wonderful thing about translucent dyes. And also we have acrylic airbrush and fine detail paint that will spray through the brushes. Trigger's a little slow on this one, but I can see why. But this is my main one. Come on, don't do me wrong. I may have trouble. I may have to only run 3 brushes. We'll see. But I get for not cleaning them like I should, but we were always in a hurry. I think it'll survive. We don't need a lot out of the black. This is the one that I always run the black in. Don't need a lot out of that. Probably should go put my gloves on so that my hands don't get completely colored in ink or dye. You should wear gloves. Sometimes I forget to put my gloves on, but they'll keep you clean. I'm comfortable with Harbor Freight gloves. I buy the 7 mil from Harbor Freight, and I haven't had a problem with them. They hang in there just fine. If anybody who's watching works with an airbrush and stencils, give me a holler at it. Just say that you do, and or if you're new to it and you have questions, of course, ask away. I'm just spraying all the alcohol through there, and then we'll load these up with color. Go. I used the airbrush when I was a little kid doing models, and hadn't used them in years, and now I'm back to having a ball with them. Lorianne, there you are. We're going to make a mess. We're going to play with colors, airbrushes, and I even put gloves on. I got official today and put gloves on. A radical concept for me. Hopefully the sound will hang in there. I did learn to, like I was saying earlier, Lorianne, watch the audio meters on my big monitor out front. It didn't dawn on me until after I went in. Take a break. And I'm going through the guns right now, making sure they'll spray. And then we'll load them with colors, and we'll have fun with stencils. And I'll just putter through the afternoon here, depending on what all I can grab my hands on. Like I say, I barely got the van and the trailer unloaded when I got into town and started getting things set up and put back together out here. I may not be able to find all the things I want to play with, and if for that I apologize. But you can be sure that there's lots more coming. Monday Methods, I'm out here every Monday out here. So we're going to do one more gun to make sure it's clean, and then we'll load them with color, and we'll get started playing. So on the piece of wood, I used a little bit of sealer. What I'm going to be loading the guns with today is the Chromacraft wood dye. It's the Nick Agar Signature Series wood dyes, and it's an alcohol-based dye, and it has a little bit of resin and a little bit of sealer, shellac sealer, built into it. And they also have one that's just a sealer to help even things out. So that's what I put on to seal this up ahead of time. And it's just about dry. And it just helps even things out because the end grain tends to take in a lot of extra stuff. This one, it sprays okay. There we go. All right. The air doesn't stop all exactly like it should, but that's because it's not clean. So in my guns, just the way I work, I've got the 4 guns here. I do black is my big one. You can see here, you can't see many other cameras. So the big one I run is black. I do red, blue, and yellow. And let's make this one, that's the red. Put the red over here. Then I don't lose track. And so having 4 guns is really handy so you don't have to change colors. This was blue. This was yellow. Okay. So let's load, put that cap back on there. Load the red first, and I'll use a blood red just to get in the gun. Now, they have moved, they have gone, and I was over at the factory before I left. They have gone to a top with a squeeze, a tip on it, which makes loading your brushes a whole lot easier. And they're out at the warehouse, of course. The infamous everything's out at the warehouse. So I'll just pour some in here. We won't need a lot, but I usually spill a little bit. There we go. That's our red. And I have a quick change on the hose, so I can just change them out real quick. I'll keep these colors over here in case I need them. I know my blue is over here. Do our black. Top off. I've had a lot of fun learning to work with the stencils. It makes it really easy. Sometimes I look like I know what I'm doing, sometimes not so much. But I've practiced, Don Rollins, the owner of Chromocraft, he gave me a lesson, and my first leaf and my first butterfly looked great because he coached me along the way, which colors to do in what order, and it made a wonderful thing. And then I've had mixed results, but getting better all the time. Like anything, with practice we get better, and we have a lot of fun. So this looks like it's actually a teal, but that's the blue we're going to use today. That's all good. And I'm going to put, because the rim is so small on this, I'm going to just put, I think I'll put some little bugs in the patterns. We have spiders and ants and things of that nature. And I think I will put them, maybe a miniature dragonfly in a single color. I'll look at the peel-off stickers or stencils and see what I have. And we'll work from there. And here goes my yellow. It's so much nicer. It's quiet here, obviously. Out at the woodworking shows, well, the shows were, there'd be, 5,000 people in the hall and all the different people talking. This is much more relaxed, much more relaxed. Let me pop over here and see what's shaking. See if I can run the computers with gloves on. Another mess? Laura Ann, me make a mess? My dad says this is not Monday. Well, yeah, Dad, I know that'd be tomorrow is Monday. But at least you were able to make a comment. You got that figured out. Talking to my dad this morning, said he was having trouble making comments in here. So he's on my page. And over here, let me check YouTube. Everything looks good. All right. Let me start looking through the stencils. I'm going to go to the overhead so you can see. These are the plastic, they call them infill stencils. And Nick Agar created all these. And he spent weeks and weeks creating these random patterns for doing fills in your work. And there's lots of different ones. They are really cool. There's that one. Here's parts and pieces of a butterfly. And these are plastic laser cut. You can use them over and over and over. Lots of different sizes. I guess I should move these over here out of the way. That's why I should have a table. I'll store them right there. That way you can see these against the white. These allow you to fill in all kinds of things and make your stuff look very, very realistic. Here comes some of our maple leaves coming into play. And these all work in conjunction with the peel and stick stickers. Now there's my bugs. There's my, those are spiders and ants and a tree limb and a termite. And some of them are very small. So we'll see if we can't utilize some of that. There's some more of the small guys. And butterflies and patterns, leaves, patterns. Okay. Now I'm going to look through and see what I have here in the really small things. That is blanks and big leaves, so we don't need that one. We'll just put it over here out of the way. Here I have the small butterfly. So I can put I'll do a small miniature butterfly on here. Okay, we'll do that. Um, I won't be able to put any detail to it per se. I'll try, but I don't anticipate it being fantastic. And I'm looking here. I've got the little fishy. So I've got a little butterfly, a little fish. Looking for things in small. Small maple leaf. Okay, I'll give all these a try. I'll give it a try. There's a big maple leaf. And these are reusable. They're peel and stick. So you can use them for a while. I was getting 5-6 shows kind of thing out of the use of them. So that they last quite a while. And they're not overly expensive. Now with my gloves on, I'm going to need a method for lifting these up. So I think I will find a little razor knife. Do this. I need those paper towels anyway. And there's my razor knife. And I'm gonna load this up, load up the top of the piece with the stencils, and then we'll spray those. And then when we're done, I'm gonna cover them up because you get both the positive and the negative. So I'll load the other side up, and then we'll spray backgrounds. So this is going to be really interesting because these things are teeny. We'll see how I do. I don't know if you can see this or not. Trying to lift up little teeny maple leaf. All right. This is why I don't usually wear the gloves. And actually, for a little bit, I'm going to take these gloves off. I just don't have the dexterity to get the stickers in place. So let's get our little maple leaf. This one I just need to set off to the side. Save him because I need this portion of it. We'll use that later to cover it up when we do our overall colors. Pop this guy up. One important thing about using the stencils, and we learned through a customer, is that if you had put a die on top of your piece, and then you put the stencil on, and then you went off and left it for a long period of time, the dies will migrate back out to the adhesive in the stencil. So whatever you do, don't leave them on for an inordinate period of time. There's a leaf. Now I'm going to put I'm going to get a dragonfly out of here. Let's see if I can get a dragonfly to do this way. I take the big one first and leave him. Because what we'll do is we'll take that section of this small section of the dragonfly and we will cover him up after the fact, all right? So let's see and where he might fit. If he'll fit on here. It's going to be a little tough. Maybe he'll drift over the edge just a little bit. Get the stencil. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut this stencil right there and relieve it so that I can get this to lay down. So if you're going over a curve around something, you might need to do a little extra work to your stencils to get them to lay down for you, okay? Now, I make no promises today that these are going to be anything beautiful, but I do want to show you the process and the technique on how this system works, okay? No claims whatsoever of fantastic art coming out of me today. Let's do the little fishy just for fun. I had fun with the fish once before. I did a bigger fish and it was on a cool piece. Like I said, you can reuse these. We'll put the fish on the dark spot. He runs sideways pretty easy. Can you see that well enough? Is that zoomed in enough? You can see what's going on. Luigi, how are you? I'm having fun back at home. I hope you're doing well over there. I know you guys are in a world of a mess. We wish the best for you. Take care. Be careful. All right. So 1, 2, 3. What else can I do? Go to maple leaf. Let's see if I can find a miniature butterfly. There's one. Let's do mini butterfly. Miniature butterfly. All right, so these are the ones I'm working with, and I'll put the others away so I don't have to worry about them. Oh, I need my fish too. So here's our little butterfly. It's springtime. Hopefully all the butterflies are coming out. All that good stuff. I'm gonna cut this stencil right there. Scissors would be better, so you don't run the risk of putting a knife cut into your wood piece. Okay. All right. So there's my 4 stencils to start with. Now comes the fun part. Trying to pick the colors and all that. I know the butterfly and the leaf, I'm going to give them yellow backgrounds. Get this dialed down here a little bit because I want just a very light, small pattern. Now what I should do, and I've got the tape here, I'll do it real quick. Mask around this, and I'll just do this real quick like. You want to mask off around your pieces. I forgot about that. All right. Now down inside the bowl, I'm going to make it some darker colors, so I'm not going to get too carried away, but you get the idea. I'm thinking that I'm going to make the rim of this bowl yellow. So all these should show up against, once I've got them all sprayed and they're different colors on them, they should still show up against the yellow rim. And then I was going to do a blend down to maybe an orange or something like that inside. So I made a mistake one time out on the road. I didn't have the blue tape with me, and I've got this black duct tape, gaffer's tape, that really sticks really well. And I had put it on to hold the stencils down onto the paper, this paper that I had up on the easel. And it destroyed the paper trying to take the tape back off, take the stencil off. So that was a lesson learned. So I ran over to Home Depot. We go to Home Depot a lot out on the road. And I grabbed some painter's tape. Oop, don't cover the butterfly. And then it was much, much better. Or that was a dragonfly, excuse me. I've had good success with the leaves and the butterflies. I say that, I'll probably do horrible today. The dragonfly, I haven't quite figured out my dragonfly colors. Not that I've studied them, which I should. Lorraine asked, asking what do you use to prep the surface? So I sanded it to 320 real quick, just a quick and dirty. And then I sealed it with, I'll do this little demonstration here for you. The wood dye sealer. There's nothing in it. It's just clear, but it does have the resin. And let me grab something from over here on the shelf that hasn't been sealed. So it's basically the die. I always explain this to people, and they look at me like I'm crazy. It's the die without the die. It's got the resin, and it's got the shellac in it, and it goes on clear because it is clear, and it just seals up all your grain, and it dries real quick. Okay, and so it'll go back to its normal color once it's dry, and that's all you've got to do to seal up a piece. Nothing to it. Sometimes 2 coats if you got a really porous piece. Some of the sycamore has been pretty porous, but that's all there is. Just put it on. You can put it on with the airbrush too, if you want to. You can spray it on. We'll put this back over here. So I'm using my work table off to the side today. But while I'm in the overhead camera, you can't see me walking back and forth anyway. I'm gonna see. I want to zoom in a little tighter. I want you to get as much detail as you can, and hopefully this will stay in focus. We'll check it and see what happens. And if I can keep it in sight for you, go that way. See how that looks. I'll wait 20 seconds for it to show up there. Okay, you can see everything. So as long as I don't knock it off, that's better. I do believe. And let me check over here real quick while I'm up and about. Check the other one here. Okay, got that going. Everything's good there. Everything's good over here on that one. All right, so my maple leaf and my butterfly are going to start out with yellow. So I'm going to do this very lightly, and I'm going to spray away since I don't have the whole thing taped off. That overhead camera has an interesting color to it. Oh, well. So I'm going to start to build the yellow on the butterfly. And again, I've got a very light amount of fluid coming out so that I don't flood it and take the chance of overrunning my stencil. You can see here on the side, just a very light amount. I have not done any of these this small before. This is the first time I've gone this small. So it'll be an experiment for me as well. Hey, you know how you get better at things and you try new things, you do things you haven't done before? And that's what makes it work. So I'll do a couple of coats here so I can build up some yellow. Okay, another one here. Now the dragonfly. What color should the dragonfly be? I think we're going to make him we're going to give him a yellow body. Oh, stay down, stencil. So you keep your air pressure low. I'm going to give him a little bit of yellow. And then I'm going to use the blue, which is going to give me a transition to green. Let me do a little bit more yellow on my maple leaf. Back on there. And see, the beauty is how you can see the, and you'll see it more when I hold it up close. You still see all the grain right through the colors. All right? So on that dragonfly, I said I wanted to put a little blue on him, blue tips, and then he'll turn to green. So I'm dialing down my brush. So the air is kind of sticking with, that's just the air blowing. Make sure my stencil is pushed down. I'll put blue tips on his wings. just on the very tips. So as I bring the second stage in slowly, it brings in the color, and we'll give him a little bit of blue on his tail too. And then I'll kind of mist over the yellow, losing some sticky there. Okay. We'll leave him be for a minute while I think about him. My fish. What color is our fish today? We don't want him. We don't want a black fish because we want to put spots on him. We're gonna have a. Well, what I'll do is I'll do yellow and blue, and I'm gonna make a green fish. So we'll give him yellow to start with after all. We'll make him green. A little bit of yellow. Come back with the blue. Oliver teal. Well, he'll be teal. This is actually teal, so he'll be a teal green. And we'll put red fins on him and things. I need magnifiers to see down this small. Okay. That was blue on him there. Now, I'm going to go get some red. Oh, that's black red. Let's get the red, and I'm going to touch on my maple leaf corners a little bit. Dial down. I am not used to working this small. Okay. This will be tricky, but fun. Hang with me on this one. Little teeny fall. I know it's spring, but we're doing fall. Red highlights. Right on the tips. So like I say, I have the air, and then I just ease into the trigger. I get my color. Okay, and then one more right there. Right? So that gets that, and now the next thing I'm going to go ahead and pick up. I'll work on the leaf some more. I'm going to get my infill stencil out. Switch sides here. Get these all the plastic infills, and I'm going to find that little teeny maple leaf, and I'm going to put the veins in it. So let's look through here for the little teeny guy. Might take me 2 passes to find it because it's going to be small. See if that one's bigger. Yes. Is that the teeny guy that matches? There's different maple leaves. There's a sugar maple and a red maple. I have to make sure I get the right one. Now getting this on a curve is going to be a trick. Okay, but that's not the one I want. I want the one that gives me the veins. So I keep looking. If I find it. I've worked myself into a corner, one that doesn't exist. Anything is possible in my world. That's the style I'm looking for right there, but I need a smaller version of that. I may have lost it out on the road. It may be just hiding down in here. I told you it might take me a couple of laps around in here to find it, or I may not have it, which would be unfortunate. Well, gosh, gosh darn it. Don't seem to have that little guy. I'll make one more pass through. And if it don't, then I'm going to do him a different way. I'll just do the leaf a different way. Double checking. Of course, somebody out there watching may see it, and I'm not seeing it on the template. That's the opposite of it. I think it would be on there, but it's not. I'm going to set that one off to the side. And I may just fake it with this other one. Put some veins on it. Let go. I think that's what I'll do. I think I'll just use some of these veins. That's what I'm going to do. I do not see it. I don't want to spend all day looking for something that may or may not be here. So I'll just use veins from a bigger one and go with what I get. May not be the perfect veins. That's okay. Better back that off a little bit. You can see how we got the one vein in there. See, making it up as I go. I would never do that, would I? Make it up as I go. Get back on that and match what I did. Get in there somewhere. Finding the branch of that. Well, if that's not it, it's going to be. You'll still get the idea of what we're after. So we get our branches, our veins in there, even if we don't have the right template for that. Okay? Now, since I've got the black out, do a couple of things here. I'm going to give the fish a little fish eye. With the gun real close. Let's see if you can see this. Let me see where can I do this. If you can see those little teeny dots, can you see those? So I do little swirly gigs. So when you can hold the gun right up against the piece. That's the tip touching to make a super fine line. I know in the monitor that looks purple to me, but it's black. And then as you pull away, they get bigger. So I gave him a little teeny black dot of an eye there. Now my butterfly, I want to go around the very outside edge and just give him a little black shadow. Just very subtle. A little something to help define the edge of it. I'll get his little spot right there. Go. Okay. All right. The dragonfly. Does the dragonfly need black? He needs black, but he needs black spots, I think, today. So I'm going to take a very, very fine pattern. This one right in here. I'm going to wrap it around on over the butterfly a little bit. Kind of give him some dots. Again, it's tough when it's not flat. So we'll give him dots in the flat area. It's very subtle. And remember, you'll see just the ones that are in the template, obviously, when it comes off. Kind of hold that around the corner there. Trying to get down onto that last little wingtip. There we go. And a little bit right there. He's a spotted dragonfly. Okay, nice and subtle there with that. Now my fish, I want to put little red fin tips on him. Hey Rich, how you doing? All right, I got it, the red dialed way down, and I'm just going to put little teeny red tip right. I know my head might get in the way. On that bottom fin right there. And bottom fin right here. That might be too much, but you get that sometimes. I mean, this is teeny. And let's give him black dorsals since we're having fun. Very subtle little black dorsal fins. And black tips on his tail. And I don't know if we'll ever see this detail or not. I think it lifted up the stencil right there on that one. Okay. Let's see here. Where we got? We got a butterfly to work on. Let's see if we can find the appropriate stencil for him to do the next stage. Look through here. Teeny, teeny, teeny. Get that lined up like that. Let's see. All right. We're going to give him blue dots. Blue be green. No. Red, black. We're going to just do black dots. Black in the butterfly. Take this little teeny plastic stencil here. We hold it down. And we hope for the air pressure. This is easier if it's actually like in a chuck to hold it down. Have some weight underneath it. This is how your finger gets airbrushed. All right, that's one side. We just kind of wipe that off. You just flip it over and do the other side. See, it was naturally curving this way, so this one will be easier. Hope my head's not in the way. Airbrush is probably in the way. Okay, a little fuzzy around the edges there, but that's okay. Let's put some mildew. Put some mildew on our leaf. This is another good one. Come back to this small random pattern. Come right over our leaf here. I wonder if I have any smaller. Let's see what the smallest is that Nick carved out. Yeah, this one's really teeny. There we go, right here. Take that one. We'll give it some mildew. These infill plastic stencils make it really easy. Need to turn up my fluid just a little bit for the spots, for the mildew. Again, this is a little teeny thing. All right, we'll leave it at that. What else can we do to this little guy? I got our yellow and black butterfly. We've got our leaf. I'm going to spray a little more red very lightly over the leaf more in the middle to give it a little bit of an orange tint. And I'm just very lightly, I'm holding the brush real far away and just giving it a little bit of that orange tint. Now my veins are not crisp, and I get it. We got that today. Okay. So, Dick Gerard, hey, how you doing, buddy? So we're going to take all this off. And go to stage 2. And I'm going to stick these all over here out of the way. Dragonfly's better than I expected. I'm happy with that. For me. Again, that's the smallest of these stencils I've worked with. That's really teeny. But a good challenge is a wonderful thing. Okay. And there's our little fishy. He came out okay. All things considered. Now the real fun part is going to be covering them back up. Let me check and see if there's any kind of questions going on over here. See what's shaking. And check this one. Hope everybody's having a good Sunday afternoon. What's shaking over here? All good. YouTube looks good. All right. So, put these out of the way for the moment. We'll find all the pieces that we saved. So this dye dries really quick. So I'll cover up the bass first. I think it's the sea bass. We'll just call it the fishy. And we cover up what we have done. All right. so that we can do other color around it. I mean, this is what's so slick about this. So that was my bass. See if I find my little butterfly. I believe this is him. I can't believe I went and attempted these things that are this small live without ever trying it this small. But out at the woodworking shows, I do a lot of things sometimes that I haven't ever done before in front of a live audience. And that's one of the fun challenges for me that helps keep me excited about my work out on the road. Here's our little dragonfly. Only thing I'm gonna have to find left will be the leaf. And I think I'll find, there it is. All right, so yeah, so I like to challenge myself out on the road. Dragonfly will be tough to get down on. Here you can see all his little legs and limbs there without breaking him or letting him stick together to himself. So I kind of get one corner in place and another one. Now I did stretch him a little bit, so he may not cover perfectly. Everything looks perfect except this section right there. There's a little like it got passed outside the stencil, but I guess that's what I got. So that's what I've got. Okay. And now for my little maple leaf. Boy, don't lose that in a high wind. And get him positioned just right. Oops, sorry if my head got in there. Go. That's pretty good. Okay, so now all our work that we've done so far is now covered. And we can do other colors to this piece without worrying about that. All right. I know that I wanted to do some bugs in black. So since I'm here and having fun, I'm going to find the bugs. They're in the infill stencils. And I'm going to put some bugs around on this just because I can. That back in the middle of everything. I think they're the ones that fell on the floor. Too much like fun. Okay, so we've got little spiders and termites. We've got all kinds of little goodies here. So let's add some more things to this. There's a big old spider. We'll make that big old spider headed that way. Okay. Then the body I have to hold down right there. So there's our little spider. Big spider, actually. And we'll put a termite over here. Boy, if I'd have had this when I was doing art and craft shows, I could have eaten them up. My termite moved on me. Termite's a little fuzzy. The stencil slid when I was doing the termite there. This looks like a little bumblebee, something of that nature. Get it kind of in between things here. There we go. Whatever that critter is. And one more teeny spider. Let's do one more teeny spider for fun. Okay. Well, that was fun. Those we don't have to cover because I did them in black, and I know that I've just already decided I'm going to make the top of this piece yellow, so I'm not going to worry about that. So that's my next color, is to add yellow to the top, and then I'm going to go down deeper into the bowl and get the colors darker, and we'll turn it over and do some other colors combinations on the outside. So I'm going to start with the yellow. Let me check my material fluid, my amount. Got plenty. And I'm just going to spray to the outside over here. And remember, like I said, I have sealed this, so it should, the color should be relatively uniform. A second coat would have been nice. I actually chose to put the bass right there because it's kind of like it's got the floor of the lake or the pond or the ocean or whatever. So that kind of fits into the scene, if you will, by using the natural colors that were already in the piece of wood. And you see how, I know if it'll stay in focus, you can see the grain still just fine through there. Okay, which is the wonderful thing. And the acrylic paints, the fine detail and airbrush acrylic paints, they look virtually identical, but they're just water-based and acrylic. They're a little bit thicker. There is a thinning agent. And you can brush those on and then airbrush them on, anything you want to do. So I want to get plenty of yellow color on this top rim. So I'm going to spray it real well, and then I'm going to go check the messages over there in the chat room. Then I'm going to come back and put another coat on it in yellow. And then we'll start down, and I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit down inside here. Come around the corner here. Because we're going to make a transition or a fade, gradient, whatever you want to call it, from yellow to red to orange. And then maybe a dark, maybe the teal down the bottom or just black. Not sure. So let's let that sit for a second and flash dry. And I'm going to jump over here and take a check on things if there's any questions. I see it looks a little choppy out there in internet land. It looks good. Tube looks good. Okay. So I'll switch over now to the red. I got enough light on that. It's just that one. It looks fine on screen over there, so that's okay. So I'm adjusting my brush for a little bit bigger pattern, and I'm going to start to spray the inside of this red. And I'll put a strong red band on it. Now there's a little bit going down into the bottom, and that's okay. So this is, I believe, it's a blood red. We'll make that plenty red. Okay. Then I'm going to switch back to the yellow. I'm going to bring the yellow and red together, and I should get an orange transition, depending on how my day is going. I could use an actual orange if I wanted to. It's kind of fun to make this transition happen, and that way you get a nice soft transition right there on that fuzzy edge. And just right there where the two colors change. I might go up with a little bit of red up high, a little bit higher, just a tick. A very light amount of red up high. These usually become hippy dippy by the time I'm done. I'm going to go ahead and put a black bottom in it, I think, just to give it a deep base down in there. I'm going to hold this up sideways so that I can do this one. But I'm going to work from the center out. See if you can see that. Oh, let me switch cameras. You can see this good in the end camera. There you go. So I'll work from the center out. And I'll kind of go up under that rim for the transition, so that when you look down inside, you won't really see it. Now the next thing I think I'm going to bring out, some, do some pearlescent powders over the top on this. Black right in there. Darken up the bottom. Okay. Don't forget, we still have our stickers or peel and stick over top of all our critters here. So now I'm going to play with some pearlescent powders and brushing them on. I don't have my makeup brush that works really, really well, but I'm going to put some other colors in here And you'll be surprised what happens. Let me see here. Okay, so I've got some dry powders, iridescent pearl powders. And I probably should zoom this out just a fuzz on the overhead. Just a tick. Oh, wrong way. You can add some interesting highlights, and sometimes some work better than others. I'm going to start with the very edge of the rim, and I'm going to put purple. I just put it on my brush. I'm actually going to do the outside edge and just let it fall up onto the piece. So just you see a bunch of it falling back down here, but you just pick it back up. So just a little bit of it gets up on the top. Ever so subtle on the rim, because we don't have any purple in this piece yet. And while the die is still a little tacky, it will hold to it. You can also put a little bit of clear sealer on it, and it'll help make it stick. Okay, I don't want much. I just want a little hint here. So now I'm going to take this and just kind of brush it along, brush it in. A little bit more over here. This really helps make a piece pop when you have the iridescence going on. And I'm going to add a variety of these. As I build up the color. Okay, so that was a little bit of purple. I'm going to save the copper for down inside. I have iridescent blue twice, don't need that. Let's see how this iridescent blue works for us. Just going to bring it around in some dabs. Now this is white and it needs this other color to bounce off of. And we may be putting this down into black as well. Trying to keep that in the picture for you. Forget about the overhead camera going on there. So we start to get that iridescent sparkle in the rim. And it's very subtle. It takes kind of the harshness off of the yellow. As it's getting down in the grain of the wood that's there. Okay. Now I haven't tried this copper. I haven't tried copper on the red before. This is going to be a first. So it's a straight copper. And I'm going to come right inside here on my red. Add this copper. Blend that with the red and the yellow. And that makes a wonderful look on that red. I can never go the right ways. See that look on the over top of the road, the copper on the red? That is fantastic. I'm not worried about the black down in the bottom. Okay, so that makes a great, interesting color down in there. I love that transition. This stuff down in here, we'll just spread that around. We may spray that again black. Or we might leave it copper black. Let's experiment. I love to experiment. Don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to take iridescent green, go over the top or over top of the copper, which is over top of the black, right down in the very bottom. Brush it up on the edges. Take out any excess. So that's kind of an interesting thing. I've not done that before. The black now is all gone. We have the copper and the green down in there. And I think I might bring some of this green up onto the rim. Maybe I may wish I didn't, but I think I kind of like the way that blends together. And once the clear goes on this, you'll be amazed how it really, really pops. So these tints, these powders I'm using right now, typically they're thought of as going into resin. We mix these into the resins, into our resin. When we mix and cast resin, we put these in there. Lots of different uses for them. Lots of different things that you can do with them. This is looking cool with this green on top of the yellow and the red and down in the bottom there. So I like that so much, I'm going to go ahead and do the whole piece with a little bit more green on it. Okay? Because I just like that look. Go back to, I'm going to put you on the end camera so you can see, if I can't show you shadow in there, how that's looking. It's a different light than the overhead. Okay? Okay, so that's the inside of our piece. Now we can spray some other colors to here to the outside. We can play with this some more. How are we doing on time? It's about 3 o'clock. Let's see. What should we do to the outside of this guy? You know what? I think on this one, I think I'm just going to leave this outside natural and just have the color up on the top. The rim, it would be nice to make the rim black. I need to sand that. What I would do to make this rim black, or I could use a cream. I could actually use a accent cream. I took everything apart. Let me show you what I could do. I'd put it back on the lathe and use the Chroma Guild. And because we've got yellow, we've got gold, we've got silver, we have Viking silver, verdigris, copper. What else do I have in my box here? Looks like I don't have any of the verdigris at hand. I was thinking of maybe doing that. So I've got bronze, brass, Celtic copper, Saxon gold, and Viking silver. And there's also a verdigris. And I want to do this edge with that. Wrong camera. Let's go to 3. So there's my 5 colors out of 6 that I have here, and I want to put it on this edge. Now, this edge hasn't been sanded very well, so I'm not sure what the net result will be. Question becomes, which of these colors do I want to put on there? Copper, bronze, brass, gold, or silver? So I'll wait 20 seconds to see if anybody has an opinion. So I'll jump over here and take a look. Because there's a 20-second delay. I'll see if I get any input or not on that. Same with over here. All right. Nobody seems to have an opinion. That's all right. I'll just do what comes to me. Not uncommon. All right. I'm going with the antique brass. Just a little bit on your finger. Doesn't take much. And we go to overhead here. Now, normally I would do this with it spinning on the lathe. And I would have sanded it better. Stuff works great. The accent paste we have from Crafter also go into a tube, changing from a wax base to this cream base. And we have tons and tons of colors for all of these. I'll just go ahead and work my way around. Again, when you sand it, if you have it in the lathe, and I could just put this in the chucker in the bowl jaws, and with it spinning, it goes on real nice and quick. Doesn't take very long at all on a round piece like this. This does hide the grain, but it makes for a nice transition in between things. Getting out of the way there. Last little spot to fill in. There, so that breaks that up. Got a little extra up there. We'll take that off. So now we have a nice delineation between our top and our rim, and then we're going to leave this natural. I'll sand that away on the bottom when it dries. Okay. All right, now I'm going to peel the stickers off, is my next thing to do, and hit it with just a little bit of lacquer. Okay, so let's get the stickers off and get my pad to stick them back on so I don't lose track of them. Dropped the brush. All right. Let's open up the little fishy here. And there's our little fish. See how nice and crisp it is now that we've got the powders and all. The spiders don't have a sticker, so they're what they are. Our little leaf off. Our little leaf. Dragonfly. Gently lifting them up. Dragonfly. And there we go. So we have nice. Oh, always go the wrong way. Some nice, interesting stencil work there. Small. Not bad, all things considered. I did kind of lose my spiders there and my guy with the powders over top. Lesson learned, I would do that after the fact now. And the last step for that would be to add some lacquer to it. Add a little bit of clear finish. And I happen to have some somewhere here. Saw it earlier. Now, it won't stay shiny long because it'll take a couple of coats to build up on there. But we'll give it a good shake. It looks like I'm about to get stormed here. I hope everybody has enjoyed these seminars this weekend. Like I say, this is like me being in Syracuse at the last of the woodworking shows, except that I'm home and I can just walk over into the house there. I don't have to pack, I don't have to drive, any of that good stuff. All right, I'm gonna go to the end camera, the angle camera, and see how this looks when I start to spray. Now, interesting, and I'll switch to the overhead. When the lacquer hits the bottom, the black starts to come back up through there some. Again, right now you're seeing a lot of. You see how it looks all bumpy? That's because the iridescent powders are sitting up on top, so it's not a smooth finish. We'll put a couple of, put a coat of lacquer on there, and then we'd sand it back very, very lightly. Probably in this case, maybe 400 or 600. You don't want to get into your stencils. You don't want to get into your color work. And just to flatten the surface of that lacquer out. And then the next succeeding layers would be all nice and shiny. There we go. So you get the idea. Like I said, with that powder on there, it's not flat or it's not smooth right now. And I don't want. I can if I flood it, I'll get it. I could bleed the dye right now. But it makes things pop up nicely. Makes for an interesting look. All right. Well, it's 3 o'clock. And I believe I may just go ahead and wrap this up. I hope everybody has enjoyed it. The show ends at 3 on the road. And it's been a great day out here for me. I'm just checking to see if anybody has any questions before I close this up. I've had a wonderful time. And I hope everybody else has too. I'll put a couple other things on here I want to show you. Just to remind you of what we did, some fun things. We made this guy up yesterday. The double cast of the resin and the turn. That looks pretty good in the end shot. We did our blue. We've got our natural hole that we're going to fill in there with crushed opal. We've got our second color of yellow down in here. So we'll return this, polish that, finish the wood, put a clear natural finish on that. Of course, my favorite thing that came out of the whole weekend is the pink and blue egg mold. I just think that's just the greatest thing in the world. I don't know, but I'm easy to please. So, again, thank you, everybody. Let me change the camera here because I'm going to wind this up. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with me this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Wish we would have been at the woodworking shows in Syracuse for those of you who were planning to go there. I look forward to everybody coming and visiting Spirecraft and myself here on Monday Methods, not this Monday, but starting the Monday after and for the foreseeable future. Visit the Spirecraft shop. Everything you've seen me use here, plus all the Sorby tools that we had. We have about 50 different Sorby tools now that will be put on the website here in the next week or so. So we have tools from Sorby, Easywood Tools, Carter and Son. Got 9 different lines, Grex, airbrushes that I was using here, Chromacraft, Starbond CA glue, Imagine Groves, crushed opal, Imagine inlay, crushed opal, Abela, calcite, lots of different things there. Best value vacuum chambers and stabilizing resin, California air pressure pots. The list is starting to get long for me to remember all the things that Spirecraft is carrying now, and it's bringing more things all the time. I'm having a lot of fun doing this, and I hope people are learning as they watch the videos and spend time with us. So I really appreciate it, and y'all have a good, safe weekend. We'll get through this virus thing here in the next few weeks, I hope, and see you maybe at AAW or SWAT in August down in Texas. So anyway, everybody stay safe, stay healthy, and take care, and have a good day.